Hey guys, welcome back to another coding video. And this is going to be a real quick video for any of you viewers who want to know what happens next in my book. I'm only going to read tutorial through chapter 5. I've only done chapter 1 and tutorial, and I already read your tutorial. So yeah, I'm doing Cool Games, Game of Realms. So yeah, so we already read tutorial. We already read tutorial, so if you haven't seen that video, go back and find it. And we're starting with chapter 1 or level 1. I was born in a small village that was hidden in a valley. I grew up with my brother, Mr. Ender, who had gotten into an accident when he was 5, turning him into an Enderman, which is usually a dangerous mob. When I was 8, my entire family went off to collect wood beyond the village. When we came back, the town was in ruins. I had my wood sword with me, Mr. Ender had his wood pickaxe, my dad had his iron sword and shield, my mom had a crossbow and fire arrows. We tried to defend the village while my nostrils were burning with the smell of burnt coal and wood. We eventually made it to our house and grabbed our belongings. We dashed out of the village with any of the civilians still alive. I still remember the disgusting smell of the air. We had been on the road for days, and we had found the perfect place for our new home. It was a very faraway place, and so we settled. My family ruled over the village, and we built an HQ place that overlooked the village. I'm 11 now, and 5 months ago, I saved the world. I woke up to my phone ringing. I answered it. Hello, I said groggily. Cole, get up! Me and JJ just discovered something. Come to the fields, Mr. Ender yelled. JJ was one of my friends, who is also a YouTuber. He loves tinkering with tech, so we call him the End Engineer. I got my armor on and grabbed my iron sword. I ran down the birchwood stairs. Then I tripped. I tumbled down the stairs and felt some of my heart leaving me. I bashed my head on the wall. Ow! What was that? I said. I looked up. It was my cat, Laura. She liked laying everywhere she could. I ran to the kitchen and my mom was making bacon and eggs. My dad was still at work. He builds machines using redstone and metal and other contraptions. I grabbed some bacon and ran out the door. Bye, Mom, I shouted. And I closed the door behind me. I headed to the fields where a massive crater was just existing. I crept closer, afraid I'd find a giant creeper. I peered over a loose dirt block, and I spotted Mr. Ender and JJ just standing there, looking at a glowing object. I jumped into the crater. Cole, look at this, JJ said. I looked at the object, and it was a sword lodged in a solid brick of ice, but it wasn't blocky at all. What? How is it not like everything else? I gasped. It looked so awkward at the time. I tried pulling it out, but it won't work, Mr. Ender said, looking exhausted. He was sweating like crazy. His hands seemed burnt by trying to pull the sword, but it was hard to tell, considering his hands were made, and considering he was made of obsidian. Let me try, I said. I gripped the handle. I felt like the sword was made for me. I started to raise it. I heard cracking. Looking down, I saw the ice shattering. The sword began to come loose. Suddenly, an echoing gunshot-sounding noise rippled through the air 3 times. I dropped the sword. I had pulled it out. Then I looked down again. I felt woozy. Then pain flared through me, and I realized the noise was a gunshot, and I had been shot. I toppled backward and hit my head on the rock. Mr. Ender was on a rock. Mr. Ender was laying next to me. JJ was nowhere to be found, but I saw a puddle of blood. My vision started to blur. I saw the shape of a person who also wasn't blocky. He looked like an astronaut. He picked up the sword. He raised it high above his head. Then he let it lower. That's when he jabbed me in the forehead, and my vision went black. Well, guys, if you want to see more of these types of videos where I read parts of my story, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. If you subscribed already, ring those notification bell. That way, you can stay notified every time I post a video. And on that note, this is the end, and have a nice day. Bye!